today's special panel discussion with very renowned educationist, Dr. Ashok Pandey and Himanshu Chaturvedi ji. Dr. Saab, welcome and thank you very much for giving us time. The topic taken today, thank you, Dr. Saab. Topic taken today is parallel syllabus, learning beyond classrooms. Friends, we all know a lot of learning is possible beyond classrooms. It is very rightly said, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. एक विद्यार्थी को हर विषय पढ़ना चाहिए, लेकिन उसको एक विषय को जीना चाहिए. और especially after pandemic, it is possible. India got a new era, the new birth, and now we are able to connect all over the world. Our students are able to have a lot of access to the various courses. More than 150,000 courses are available all over the world. I would only, I know Dr. Ashok Pandey ji, he is not only a great educationist, a great innovator also. I had been to his school. I have seen live many new challenges he has taken, and he has started new practices. CMS long back, when people did not know content management system, it was inaugurated by the then chairman CBSE Joshi ji. And many more courses were going on online, ISA project, British Council projects, and many teachers were undergoing such courses 10 years back in his school. So Dr. Saab, thank you very much. Only I had 2-3 points here. The parallel syllabus sources are parents, what is heard, read and seen. Man himself is a measure of all things. Pleasure is the highest good. True spirituality has many sources, and what works is the best. Beyond that, there is no meaning, no trust, and now it is possible that we learn beyond classrooms. So I would request our very dear friend Shri Kaushik ji to formally introduce Dr. Ashok Pandey.
डॉक्टर साहब आपने तो इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया है मुझे.
Yes, sir. Just 2 minutes. Next. Kaushik sir.
This is S.C. Kaushik taking an opportunity to introduce Dr. A.K. Pandey. Dr. Pandey has been listed by the Forbes India 2020 among the 100 top. Dr. Pandey graduated in physics from Allahabad University and in consultancy management from Pilani. Dr. Pandey presently is a director of a group of schools in India. He has been always a successful school principal, an author, speaker, researcher, and facilitator. Dr. Pandey received the very prestigious Teachers Award in India, awarded by the President of India during 2012. He is also a member of governing body of National Council of Teacher Education. So we welcome Dr. Pandey and we are grateful to him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
He has spared for us. Thank you very much, Dr. Pandey, and over to Dr. Pandey.
Thank you, sir. It's an opportunity to be with such luminaries to listen something extraordinary, to discuss extraordinary. The whole process that we are planning, the whole thing that we have planned, the whole idea that has come now is that, okay, there are schools, there are colleges, there are universities, there are institutes. But a person has to chart his own course of learning now. Everyone has to direct their own course of learning. How can this be done? School and classroom. So there are, sir, two aspects. I'll be requesting all the panelists to discuss on various issues. So Dr. Pandey, you have been in education since so long and seen the whole world. Every corner of education industry you have seen. The changes which are happening today, where children can learn not only in the classroom, but beyond the classroom, from various institutes, from all around. So how you, sir, visualize the changes in learning in the new scenario, change scenario with internet, with all those mediums and people available and tips and fingertips and clicks away. So how this learning has to reshape, redefine. So we want to listen to you, sir. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash, Dr. Singh, Dr. Kaushik. My friend Himanshu will also join very soon, I believe. I thank this three Murti of education, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and I leave it to you to decide who is Brahma and who is Vishnu and who is Mahesh. And I am just an intruder at this point of time, but I'm very, very delighted. I compliment all of you for your energy, for your passion, and your continued concern for education. How it was, how it is, and how it is going to be. So that is something very, very interesting. And I'm very happy that you have given me opportunity. So I will take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to share something. We'll try and address some of the questions that you have already raised. And I can take a couple of questions later also. So this is how I'm going to begin. Here we are. So let me tell you, begin by first, I think, can we unmute some of the, I think some noise is coming. If people in the room can unmute themselves, then it would be fine. Okay. The whole purpose of education is now to be redefined. It was already this purpose, but probably in the last 10 years or so, and more so during the COVID, I think one thing that has come out very, very clearly is this formula. Since most of us are from science and maths background here, I thought that let me begin with a formula. 3S is equal to 3E. So 3 S's are success and sustainability of the society will depend upon equity and excellence for everybody. I think that is the bedrock of the entire education system. And when we say excellence, of course, it will include the access, the opportunity, the affordability, the quality of service that every child gets. That will come in excellence. And equity is that no child should be deprived of any of these just because of his or her background or parentage or the influence that the family has or any other barriers to learning. The second thing which is very important is that we have to catch them young. And young means that right from the formative years. And that is what the government has acknowledged. And we are now talking of these foundation years from 3 years upwards. The fourth element which is very important here is that it is not only the school, not only the college, it is the beyond thing. And you have rightly coined it, the parallel curriculum. And of course, our local identities have to merge into some kind of a global environment. So global citizenship, understanding the nuances of what is the nature of the human. When Dr. Singh, you talked about his spirituality, I think the first lesson in his spirituality is that we start seeing each other in each of us. So when we see that everybody is equal, everybody is part of that cosmos, then only the spirituality will start flourishing. So with this basic premise, we have to have three insights as far as the students are concerned. The first insight, which I said, that we don't only have to prepare them for degrees and diplomas and jobs and careers, we have to prepare them for life. And that life is a beautiful human being, character building, ability to adapt and solve problems. So this is one insight. The second insight is that, we have to include everybody, and that is what we call it push in, and rather than pulling out. So push in on one side is that we take care of everybody in a inclusive manner as part of the whole process. And pulling out may be in two ways. You pull them out of the system and they don't know where to go. Or we might say, oh, we are doing a favor to you. You sit separately and we are coming out with some curriculum and some access to education so that you can just lead your life in whatever minimum ways. And therefore, here I'm advocating that pushing in rather than pulling out. And the third insight is that the race for percentile and percentages and high marks has to give way to highest incredible contribution that the children as they grow can make to the society. So with just marks, things have not worked and all of us are realizing it. So can we encourage them to take up a service, take up a project, live their dreams, solve the problems of the society? So these are the three insights that I'm putting here. And of course, the role of teacher I see very clearly here. The teachers influence the children a great deal. Teachers together influence the children even more. And since you have talked about that it is not only the classroom, I'm only saying it in other words, that it is not only about the textbooks. So teacher or learner relationship, teaching and learning combined is not only about textbooks. So these are the three insights as far as teachers are concerned. I shared three insights as far as students are concerned. And therefore, the one big change that we have to make is that it is not my way or highway. So as a teacher, I'm in the driving seat. I will say what is right. I will dictate the curriculum. I will teach the way I want. I will assess you the way I want. That is not going to work. And that I'm trying to address the questions which Dr. Singh and Dr. Arun Prakash, both of you raised. Now is the time that we include the voices of the children. What is their passion? What is their purpose in life? Can we sharpen it? Can we facilitate it? Can we nurture it? Can we nourish it? What are the choices they want to make? Can their choices be made only in one system of academy, one system of schooling, or we have to give them alternate systems of schooling? That is something very big. So what kind of enabling academic environment we can create around them so that they are able to choose their own pathway and their own trajectories of leading their future. And of course, what is the future of education is very, very important. So what is relevant for them? What are their individual needs? And how, as a society, teachers, parents, community can work together to ensure that their personal needs, their personal choices, their personal voices are made relevant to the system. So this is the third thing. The another thing which is very, very important, and I'm talking about it for quite some time, is that when children come to us, we develop certain myths in our mind. One myth we develop is that they're coming as a deficient entity, and we are the hardcore surgeons or physicians, and we have to fix this particular problem. No, it is not like that. Children will already have the perfection within them. Swami Vivekananda has said it a long time back, and our job is to manifest it. Our job is to enable it. Our job is to help them manifest that perfection which is already within them. And we always think that no, it is the the knowledge and information and putting something in the head of the child is all that education means. No, education is of the whole body. So hand education, the body education, the emotional education, social education, I think they are all part of the wholesome education. The problem we have made so far is that we have never seen the child as a whole. And that is why the whole personality development has been missing from lexicon of our education system. The third myth is that all children learn in the same way. No, I think this myth is busted long time back. And if it is so, then what are the different ways in which the needs of all the children can be fulfilled? And the fourth is that only classroom is the place where all sanctity of education is involved. No, it is outside the classroom. It is beyond the classroom. It is so many other places where learning takes place, and I'll come to that a little later. And categorizing children into smart kids and dumb kids and average kids is not in the best interest of the children. That is my another request. And putting too much of pressure of competition is going to help the learning. That myth is also not correct. I think if at all there is a competition, the competition should be with self. Competition should be with what I was yesterday, what I'm going to be today, and am I going to be better tomorrow? I think that is what the competition is. And therefore, this spectrum of effective education and ineffective education runs like this, that if children are made to learn passively, I think that learning will be incomplete. So if they become active learners, that will improve effectiveness. Can they be these problem solvers? Buddy relationship, peer tutoring is now coming up in a big way in our education system, and peer-to-peer help, peer-to-peer assessment, peer-to-peer diagnosis, peer-to-peer counseling, that is something very, very important. Improvisation. So education has to improvise itself and not only be traditional in every sense of the term, and allowing children to ask questions. I think we shy away from giving opportunity to the children to ask questions. That has been one of the serious problems, and we have to do something about that. And therefore, I think we have to see the big picture, that what is the big picture and what do we want in the world. I think this whole world is now converging to decide that the whole purpose of education, as I said, is success and sustainability of the society. It is just like our body, that if any part of our body has a cut or we have some discomfort, I think the whole body goes into a discomforting situation. Similarly, if any segment of the society is not in a comfortable situation, suffering from some kind of inequality or deprivation, I think the whole society will suffer. And therefore, the parallel education beyond classroom education has to focus on these things as to how we can ensure that nobody in this world remains hungry or poor or lacks clean water, lacks green energy, suffers from inequality, does not have a decent work and employment opportunity, and of course, the vagaries of the climate change, how we are suffering because we have disregarded the value of climate. I think that is the need of the hour. And for that, it is necessary that health and well-being, the infrastructure, the inclusive development, character building and human capital formation, research and innovation, all in a very, very transparent, accountable, equitable manner. I think that should be the purpose of education. Now, if that is the purpose of education, we will have to shift our gear. And that gear shifting, we will have to take multiple pathways and alternate centers of education to come into our whole scheme of things. We will have to build laboratory schools. And what do I mean by laboratory schools is that where new experiments in different kinds of education. So we have to think if we can develop a school for sports, develop a school for arts and culture, develop a school where children come and learn sensitivity towards the society, learn the problems inherent in the society. And the third very, very important thing, in my opinion, is that, it should not be a very, very linear process that you get into the school at the age of 3, and then you get out of the college at the age of 21, 22, then you take up a job and then think about yourself. I think that is going to change. We will have to learn for some time, and probably, if it is required, let's go out and earn, not only earn money, but also earn some experience, then return to a different kind of education, relearn things, re-equip yourself, and go back to the world and be a very, very contributing member once again. And in our society right now, as we speak, more than 20 million children before class 10 are already out of school, and we very gleefully call them dropouts, but we just don't know what has happened to those dropouts. Then this government, in the education policy, has talked about it, that they will make all arrangements to bring those children back to alternate systems of education through a variety of means, so that this dropout does not become such a big problem for us, that on one hand we are talking of quality education for all, on the other hand we are pushing out so many children out of the system. So bringing them back is very, very important. So how do we do it? I have suggested 10 things here. I think 10 more can be added, and 10 more can be added further. So first of all, now we have to give the children the experience of the real life. So internship, job shadowing, community work, giving them small short courses, 1 month, 2 month, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, in the form of micro credentials. Cultural learning is very, very important. Sports is very important. Student exchange program. And when we talk of student exchange, it should not be only between India and some foreign country. Within the country itself, the government has started a scheme 4 years ago. Now it is flourishing, and that is called Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, under which every state is twinned with another state, where children are learning each other's language, visiting them, their culture, their geography, their agriculture. So this is student exchange program can also be a very, very important thing. And a lot of things in our curriculum, they can go and see in the real life experience. If Delhi, for example, is connected with Sikkim, now children in Delhi, they learn organic farming, but they have not seen it. But if you can go and talk to somebody in Sikkim, what is organic farming? The whole state lives on organic agriculture. What could be a beautiful way to learn from each other? Advocacy, advocating the good things, being a voice against the ills of society. That the children have to learn. Volunteering. Why our children of 17 years, 18 years could not be volunteers, whether it is a traffic management, or it could be on a national day, or there is a blood donation camp. Numerous examples we have where our children can be volunteers. And peer tutoring. The peer tutoring I mentioned earlier is also one of the new things, where not only within the classroom, buddies can help each other. Maybe a senior class student should be given opportunity to go to a junior class and share his or her knowledge. I think these are some of the alternate methods through which the parallel syllabus could be developed and parallel schooling could be developed. So with these my initial thoughts, I'm leaving you with this image that when children are young, I think they live with all these experiences. I think whatever experience children have in nursery, KG 1 and 2, where they do role plays, where they do a lot of music and art and dance, where we also listen to their questions, and allowing them to pursue their curiosity. I think somewhere along the line, as they grow, all these things we withdraw from them and push them into perpetuating preparation for examination. I think that is where we have to be very, very careful. These children, as I said, born with so much of creativity, energy, and passion. If at all we are able to sustain that, with little bit of tweaking and rebooting in our own thought process, probably will be able to offer to them what they deserve the most. So at this point of time, I rest myself here. Dr. Kaushik, and you can take it forward. If there are some questions, we can take it here, or I can wait as well. Thank you very much. Over to you.
We are fortunate to have you, sir. The way you have explained, gave each and every aspect of learning and controlling learning. That's very, very encouraging, and that's very, very important. All our children, all our parents, and we educators all will be benefited. Certainly, sir, we'll have some questions and more discussion in the next phase. And we are fortunate to have with us Mr. Himanshu Chaturvedi ji. He was very much occupied. He was in convocation address of university. He will tell more about that once he will join here. But before we proceed to invite Mr. Himanshu, I'll request Kaushik sir to tell something about our guest, Mr. Himanshu Chaturvedi. Sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. We are really lucky and fortunate enough to have Mr. Himanshu Chaturvedi among us. He is a former India number 6 in juniors, captain Indian University's Team 3 tennis team, panelist, Newsnext TV channel, and for debates. He has been top Rajasthan tennis player from 1975 to 1989. He started competition rewards for 6 to 8, 10 to 12 years since 1986. He has been nominated as non-playing captain by All India Tennis Federation for Asia Oceania World Junior Tennis Tournament to be played at Melbourne, Australia. Team won bronze medal. He conceptualized the coaching scheme for DTA for the first time at Saket Sports Complex, New Delhi. Really, he has been heading the delegation for more than 15 continents in his career, presented more than 30 papers at seminars, conferences, workshops at national, international level on sports, law, marketing, and sports sciences. We are fortunate to have Himanshu Chaturvedi with us now today, and he will also enlighten us with his thought process. So I again hand over to Dr. Prakash to carry forward. Thank you, sir.
It's a really pleasure to have you, Himanshu sir. We have a long association with Himanshu sir. He has visited our school also. And we we keep on interacting with him on various issues which is involving children fate, our country, how things should go further. And now, when we have such a luminary with us, Himanshu sir is there with us, and we have him seen various aspects of sports. He belongs to a family of educators, vice chancellors, senior bureaucrats, teachers all along. And he started sports entrepreneurship, which is still a rare thing. People still talk, okay, you are playing, but what you are going to do? We have idea that either you go to India play team or there is no sports future. If you are not in very professional tennis player or not earning crores, perhaps you can do nothing. But sir, you know very well, and that our children should be enlightened when you will give more light on this, that even today, many sports people are much well off, much satisfied financially and work culture wise than most of the bureaucrats or most of the people who are working in offices. Even people who are working in governments and railways and sports quota, they are enjoying their work. They are playing and paid for playing. If somewhere you are paid for playing, I think there is nothing better than that. So Himanshu sir, learning is beyond classrooms. Learning in much ahead of what we think. But learning in sports, through sports, for sports, to sports, whatever we say is something needed today. And there can be lot of earning, lot of satisfaction, lot of job satisfaction and enjoyment in sports too. So, sir, your presence, your discourse that you'll be giving us, the ideas that you'll give us will enlighten all us. So please, Himanshu sir.
I must feel so happy that all my professional careers of almost 3 decades, I never had such an elaborated introduction. Really thank Dr. Prakash for that. Dr. Pandey, I know him very well, a great educationalist. It's an honor to be with you. Mr. Singh, Mr. Kaushik, I mean, it's always such a pleasure to be among the educationalists. All my life I've spent between them, and to just give you a small that my first teacher to how to deal with schools was Mr. B.G. Pitre. I know most of you would know him because he was the founder of Birla School in Delhi and founder of the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Jaipur. And that's what exactly where I first time dabbled my hand to work with schools and the school administrators. Because you all go to school, you attend school, you go to teachers. But when you're on the other side, when you have to deal with them like an adult, it was very difficult. And I really thank Mr. Pitre for teaching me how to actually move forward in this area. So before I touch my point, I would like to throw a small light on what Pandey sir was just mentioning about the volunteering. So, sir, there's a very interesting project which I had as a child in the school was that when we were young, we were asked to go and stand with a small dibba in hand with a black paint and a brush, and we were asked to stand on the red lights. Because today what we see, the maximum number of accidents which we see in city and on highway is because of the high beams. So as a project, we were standing on the red lights and we would just smile to any car or a two-wheeler and go and paint half the light black from the top. So the beam would not go up. That was my first ever social project, which I did. And second was my SOS, which I did. When SOS actually started, I'm a Jaipur Zavarian. And we were asked to do that at that point of time. I mean, people still do not know how to go to an orphanage and attend those children. We are so fortunate. I come from an elite family. We have food in family. We have educators. You go home, somebody is waiting with you. Beta khana kya khaoge? I mean, there are children, those who haven't had food for days together. So we were taught to go to them and, share either your 1 day or a 1 week or 1 month of your pocket money and try and see what best we could do with them. Now, very interesting, we go back as Arun sir just now said, my grandfather was a botany professor and a vice chancellor of a university. My father was a medical doctor. And I don't know how it came to me. I used to tag along with my elder brothers and I used to go and play. They were playing, so I started playing, and my coach, one Mr. R.C. Anand, he said, you have a lot of talent and you can be very big. So he fed something in my mind that I could be a next phase of the country in tennis. So I started taking it very seriously. And the minute I started to take it seriously, my father was so offended that he said, look, either I'll throw you out of the house or you start studying properly. So my mother, unfortunately, I lost her last November, was my best friend, and she would hide. She would make me wear a trouser and tell my father that I was going for a tuition. And she would throw my bag on the other side of another house and ask me to go and play. I mean, I don't know how many fortunate people have such kind of mothers, and especially I'm talking of so many years back. And now today, yes, sports has taken some light. Parents are looking at children being professional sports people. So I started my playing professionalism at that level where my mother was hiding from my father. So there was a war at home and there was a bigger war outside. Because when you're playing, people said, what will you do? Playing is very good for your fitness. Maybe very good at, those days the sports quota was just beginning to start in colleges. So maybe you will get very good admission, and to a very large extent, in case if you are very good and if you do well, you might get a scholarship abroad. And that was the end of every sport. The other side of sporting career was that you play a little of sport, get into the national rank, as Arun sir rightly said, get into a job either in railways or one of those police, or maybe some oil company or airline. Somewhere you get a job, but those jobs weren't very exciting because the job which you get into was never of an officer. So you joined as a clerk, you joined as an LDC, UDC, or the best of the best international player might get an inspector's job. So people from my background, I mean, your father is a doctor, your brothers are all professors, and they're somebody is getting into bureaucracy. Here you have a vice chancellor, and then suddenly you decide that I'm going to get to sports. And the best career somebody seen in your family is an inspector, either in a custom or income tax or sub inspector of a police. So everybody used to wonder, what are you going to do, and what is that next for you? Now, to just inform this elite panel, as a young child, just imagine at the age of 11 and 12, you decide what you are going to do. Even today, all of us, if actually we go back and do a kind of a research in our own schools where we have so many children, and Pandey sir, maybe probably I could request you that if we ask children in the band of 11 to 13 years, they actually do not know what direction are they going to take. They do.
Absolutely.
Because what the parents think. मेरे फादर ने कहा तो मैं डॉक्टर बनूंगा, मेरी मदर ने कहा तो मैं इंजीनियर बनूंगा. It's not the child's independent. If you put him in a one room and ask him independently with confidence that what are you going to do, and believe me, 80-90% of them, believe me sir, this is my experience of handling more than 7-8 lakh students, believe me, they will never say that they want to become doctor and engineer. Either somebody will say, I want to become a musician, I want to become an artist, or I want to become a sports guy. Nobody wants to get into that 8 to 2 system, 45 minutes of a clustered one teacher standing on a blackboard teaching. No, I don't think any child wants. I don't know, your experience may be bigger than mine, or have you touched actually the pulse of a child in a very different manner. But yes, if you do that, maybe the schools will get closed because the parents will not pay you the fee. If you start telling children that, okay, you do what you want to do, because of the parent, we don't provide what parents. Sir, am I audible? Hello?
I think in between we missed you. You can continue, Himanshu.
Sir,
your video,
Continue.
can video be on? Can you put on the video, sir?
So can you see me? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, but your video is off.
Can I see? Is it okay now?
No. Now it's okay.
So, sir, I was saying that if we do not do what parents want to do, we probably will not get the fee, and we cannot go by what the child wants, because most of the children want a career which is exciting, and nobody gets any excitement between 8 or 12 chapters in a book being taught in a classroom. I don't think any child gets. Maybe 1% or 2% or 3% of the children would like to become somebody in education. I don't know what your experience is, sir. I mean, maybe I'm thinking very loud because I come from that side of it, and maybe I'm biased. Maybe I want more and more children. So I'll give you an instance, naming it. I started my career in Delhi as a visiting tennis teacher with Gyan Bharati School when I was shifting my base from Jaipur to Delhi. So I was taking a class, and there were children on the field with me. And suddenly the vice principal of the school came and said, "Hey, Afreen, you come to me." So I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, sorry. What did you do?" So he said, "I want to talk to the child." I said, "You can't talk to the child directly. You need to speak to me first. I am the in charge. He's with me." So he said, "Who are you?" I said, "I am in charge here for sports." I'm here, the class is going on. So she got annoyed and she went and, complained about me to the principal. Well, I was summoned to the principal. I had to clarify my point. 3 days later, I did the same. I walked into the class of the vice principal and she was teaching. And I called the same girl out. I said, come out, I need to speak to you. She said, what is this you're doing? I said, how did you like it? You came to my sports field, you came to my class and asked one of my students to come out. I'm not supposed to feel bad, but if I come to the classroom and ask the same student to come out, you feel offended. I said, please start respecting the same sentiment of a sports teacher as the same sentiments of the academics. So then both of us went to the principal and she had that courtesy to me of saying sorry for what she did to me. So that was my one of very good incidences to share here at this platform, because all of us are educationists and we need to understand a beeline difference. A music teacher is as important as a biology teacher. A sports teacher is as important as a math teacher, or an artist or a calligraphy teacher is as important as somebody teaching chemistry. So unless we do that, we will not churn out a lot of talent of different kind in schools. Sir, Pandey sir, am I going all right? You endorse?
There is no better education than learning from the experience. Your personal anecdotes speak everything.
Thank you so much. So now I'll travel a little onto what I did. I started playing tennis and I started playing professional tennis. Now the problem in my house was that if I go back and sit on the dining table, my father would not sit with me. He says, I'm not sitting with this boy. He's terrible. Because I had a photo memory. I was intelligent. I was smart. He says, this boy is ruining his career. It's a total mess. So I asked my mother one day, what does this man wants? I mean, I'm his son. I'm not doing any crime. I sweat 6-7 hours. I work very hard. She said, he says, you will not study. I said, that's all. So, sir, believe me, it's a very knowledge. Do we have students up here? They're listening, some of them. Do we have
there are some. There are some.
Record this. And Pandey sir, especially, I would like you to put a little more emphasis on what I'm saying, because you that day in our pre-conference, you said you have sports children, those who pulled out a scholarship from the government. Now, I said, all right, I'll study. So now there was a paucity of time, but do you know how I managed? I used to travel 5 to 6 months to play my tournaments. And since I was a doctor's son who was a government servant, he was not a private practitioner, I had to travel into a train. The whole time in the train, when I was traveling for 70 hours from here to Chennai or to Trivandrum, I used to study my course books. Whenever I didn't have my match, because I would play only a match in a day for 2 hours or maybe 3 hours or maybe 4 hours for maximum. The rest of the time I would sit below a tea or go back to my room and study course books. When I came back to my classes, I was 4 chapters ahead of the regular students, because I had finished more study than what was taught in the class. So what result happened was that I was given slap on my face and I was given 2 double promotion in school. So after playing more than 300 national international tournaments, I was only 15 and a half when I reached college. So that I did for my father. I said, you wanted me to study. I have given you this. Please allow me to play. So that's the first war I won at home. And outside, my teacher would say, I had to leave a very big school because my principal and everybody said, we can't afford to give you so many attendances. You're fantastic at studying. You're doing everything fine, but I'm sorry. If you don't attend classes, I cannot do it. I said, sir, I will pass the exam. That is my problem. I will study hard. He said, no, sorry. So I had to go to another school where I got that concession of not going to the school and getting attendances because I was traveling and I was playing. Because at my level, when I was playing, I had to play a district tournament. I had to play a state tournament. I had to play nationals. I had to play inter-school, then I had to play, then to college, to inter-college, then to regional university and the national university. So you had so many tournaments, so many matches. I was occupied almost more than 220 days in a year. So it was very, very difficult for me to plan my day. I did nothing. I didn't know who was living next house to me in my own this, because there was a discipline. Morning you get up, go play, come back, go to school or college, come back in the day, have your meals, go back to sports field in the evening, come back and sleep. That's what I did, like a disciplined soldier all my life. So what it gave me, a lot of achievement in sports and a lot of achievement in my educational institutions. So what I did, sir, so it's kind of an I would not say an example. I have set it up, but I tried my best. After playing so many tournaments, I did my honors in history with a decent percentage. I did my MA in English with a decent percentage. I got lecturership the minute I got out. I did my law, where I had 72% in CPC, which very few people had in those days. And I did my MBA in HR. And I topped. I was a gold medalist of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Rajasthan chapter for MBA in HR. This I did along with my 350, 400 international national tournaments. And running a tennis academy when I was myself in college. I was 17 when I started this tennis academy. I used to call it a clinic. So people said, you paranoid because you couldn't become a doctor, so you're trying to name it as clinic. So I told people in those days, now it's very common that you have clinic word. I said clinic is not a medical term, it is where you treat it of something. So I have a press article which probably I'll pull it out and send it across to you, where in those days I said, you treat it, I treat tennis. I don't teach tennis, I treat tennis, because it cannot be taught. It can be improved, because talent is something which is natural. You can improvise a talent, you can make changes in talent, but you can't give talent to anybody. If you don't have the talent, you can't become a player. If you don't have flair for sport, you cannot be given. Education, you can do 60, 70, 80%. One sports, in art history and painting, singing, you have to be perfect. You need that basic talent to learn that. So I set in an example. And I proved that example back to my children. My both children are from Sardar Patel School. My son played football for Delhi. He had 95% in 12th. My daughter had 45 gold medals and silver medals in shot put and discus in Delhi. She had 98.4% in 12th. So I did that once again with my children, being a top sports, being top in education. So I think it's a very wrong notion that a lot of these kids and teachers listening to us here is that if you study, you can't play, and if you play, you can't study. I'm sorry. I think you can do more, much smarter. The other day, sir was saying in our pre-conference, Arun sir, let me tell you, it takes about split of seconds for a ball to move, for a cricket ball or a TT ball or a tennis ball or maybe a shuttle, from one player to another. Now, I am the biggest calculator. I'm the biggest physics guy, because where he's going to hit, what is going to be the speed, and how I'm going to give it back to him. Within those 3 seconds, my body, my mind, my everything has to do it. And I have to be again ready for 3, because in badminton, there are rallies, in TT, there are rallies, in tennis, there are rallies. So you have to be so super intelligent. So if you're not super intelligent, you cannot be a champion sportsman. You can be a player, but you can never be a champion. If you have to be a champion, you have to be very, very quick. Your reactions have to be quick. Your calculations have to be quick. You have to be very smart. You have to be very good in reading the mind of the other person. There are so many things you have to do, because there's so much of coordination. The hand is coordinating, the leg is coordinating, the eye is coordinating, your brain is thinking about it. So there is so much to do, but people unfortunately think the sports guy is what? Nothing. He'll just go there, he has no brains. He's just going out. What is he doing? He's just exercising, strong guy. So they think if you have muscles, you have no brains. So yeah. I think, am I running out of the over time?
Yeah, we can take some questions, Himanshu ji. And
okay,
then you can...
so I'll close quickly on the last minute. I started the tennis academy and moved on to a place where I have given career. Today morning I had that incident of I was a guest in an international ITF tennis tournament where the boy who won was the boy who was my ball picker in Jaipur. I picked him up, gave him racket, gave him scholarship. Today he's superintendent of customs. He won the tournament today morning. So I have had the pleasure of promoting talent of various kind. Today, a lot of footballers are those people, those who are teaching and making a lot of money through sports, which otherwise would have had no life. So I think I'll leave the floor open. I would like people to ask questions, and maybe during the question, maybe I can speak
Yes.
more about what my experience of this different line than the education, and I have no syllabus because sports has no
Absolutely.
syllabus. We have no
Fine.
12
Yeah.
chapters or 14 chapters, is unlimited. Thank you so
Arunji,
much.
Sir,
yeah. Arunji, if you have any question for me, I'll quickly answer it because I have to go to the other room.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Himanshu ji is here. He will take the floor for the rest of the questions.
Thank you, sir. Himanshu sir has raised many questions and many new thinking, in fact. Sir, when students come to you, they want to play and their family is not supporting, or they are not able to manage a school timing or a school system that is coming. So what you advise, since you are such a senior principal, how you advise other principal and educator to help the child can learn sports
Yeah.
and do justice with education. So how you advise,
Yeah.
sir?
Arunji,
Sir,
first of all, even as a principal, we can concentrate on those children who want to do sports.
sir.
So the first thing is not to discourage them.
Mhm.
So be compassionate, tweak the timetable for them, give them concession in coming late and going early, help them in giving learning time extra, encourage your teachers to help them and not to mock at them. I think that is the first thing that we have to do, because the whole
Thank you so
mindset
much,
has
sir.
to change. Most of the schools and teachers, the moment a child goes into extracurricular activities and sports, they start discouraging them by very disparaging remarks and comments. I think that is one thing that we have tried to stop all the time. So that is one thing. And second thing, of course, is integrating it. It is sports. Himanshu Bhai will agree with me. It is not only always to get a gold medal. It is a mental training. It is a support to body training. It will support your learning if you are physically fit. And of course, you bring a lot of values from the ground, from the courts and from the playing arena. So I think as a principal and as a teacher, we have to start giving importance to this as part of the learning and growing process. At least this is what I have practiced, and I'm still practicing it, and I hope I'll continue with this. Thank you.
Yeah, please unmute yourself. Dr. Arun Prakash, please unmute.
Sir, other day you were telling that you have arranged a lot of scholarship to the children and that career that they will develop in the sports field, that will really good for them. Sir, I'll tell one incident of mine. When I was in Bhubaneswar, there was a girl who was an Asian chess champion.
Okay.
And she was in class 10th board, and you'll be surprised she attended only 3 days school in class 10.
Yeah. There you are. That is what we have to do.
Most of the time she was traveling out of country. She was in Russia for training, and she passed with almost 78% marks in board also. Because those days we were talking over phone, we were giving her postal, because internet had started, some internet lessons we were giving.
Yeah.
But we helped a lot to all the children. So thank you, sir. I think you have a program somewhere.
Thank you, sir.
Will
Thank you,
some other
sir.
program.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you
Himanshu
very
Bhai.
much,
Please
sir. Thank
take,
you.
Thank you, sir.
take
Thank
the
you. Good
floor.
to see you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
some
you.
other day
Thank
we'll
you.
invite you, sir, for some more
Sure,
program.
sure.
Major Karthikeyan Sharma from GD Goenka sent his regards to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Kaushik here.
Sir,
Thank you very much.
now I'll request Basing sir to give his comments on whatever we discuss, and then we can take a second round of some question from Mr. Thapar, from Narula ma'am, and Himanshu sir, please.
See, both the speakers, they have covered the topic so well. They have touched all dimensions पांडे जी ने, डॉक्टर पांडे ने पूरा एजुकेशन, मीनिंग ऑफ एजुकेशन and how learning beyond classroom is possible. A new term he has given: learn, earn, return, and then relearn. It is possible, and it is happening now. Himanshu ji ke apne examples were so powerful, so useful, that it's really inspiring, and a lot of lives he has impacted. So we would love to hear from him. I want to share one or two examples of even mine. Dr. Prakash, you were saying we have sent students to 7, 8 countries, and when we sent the first batch of our student to Durban, South Africa, a student of class 9, he was sent in a team of indoor cricket. Himanshu sir, especially, I want to share with you that boy had 54% marks. As usual, 4 or 5 months he did not attend the classes, and after coming back, there was a sea change in him. His personality got 73% marks. The parent insisted to come home and share the happiness. They said, sir, this boy never used to speak in English, but now he's so fluent, so confident, and I don't know how he got 73% marks. So learning takes place beyond classes. Another good experience we had, एक village है मेरठ के साथ, that is called Bhamori village. When India 50 years we were celebrating, a bureau chief of BBC gave me a book. He said, sir, आप इस book को पढ़िए. ये जो भामरी village है, इसकी history बिल्कुल जलियांवाला बाग की तरह है. वहां उसी तरह का मैस्केर हुआ 1942 में, जो जलियांवाला बाग में हुआ, और उस टाइम की गवर्नमेंट ने पैटर्न टैंक भेजा उस गांव को उड़ाने के लिए, बिकॉज वो गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ एक्शन, कुछ एक्टिविटीज कर रहे थे वो लोग, और एक मॉमडन ड्राइवर था, उसने जानबूझ के टैंक को फंसा दिया बीच में नाले में, और वो नहीं गया वहां. उसके बाद दूसरी टीम भेज के उस गांव में अटैक किया गया, और कम से कम 20-25 लोग ऑन द स्पॉट शूट कर दिए गए. वो स्टोरी हुई, वो सारा हमने पढ़ा. ये हमारे साथ 6 मंथ्स चला ये स्टोरी. 2-3 महीने पढ़ते रहे. 42 स्टूडेंट्स को लेके हम वहां गए. एक ट्रक में हमने ओपन थिएटर बनाया, और जो जो घटनाएं हुई थी, और बीबीसी चीफ ने जैसे हमें बताया, वो सारा हमने प्ले किया. उन्होंने कहा कि साहब नेहरू जी से लेके सारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर इसमें पड़े हुए हैं, लेकिन हमारी जो जनरेशन आज की है, जिस तरह से आपने ये दिखा दिया कि ये हुआ है, स्टोरी तो हम सब सुनाते रहते थे इनको, इन्होंने रियल देखा, मन प्ले हुआ, और उसी तरह से उस सीन को रिपीट किया गया. सो इट्स अ बिग लर्निंग. So beyond classroom, learning takes place. There is no doubt. Thank you very much. Let us request Ma'am Narula, if any question is there on chat box, or Dr. Arun Prakash, any one of you.
Yes, Narula ma'am, you can speak and give your comment and some questions if you have around.
Good morning from my side. It's good evening to everyone, but it's good morning from my side.
Okay.
Himanshu sir, I was really, when I was listening to you, I was going back and, paralleling, thinking that I myself put into your mother's shoes, and I did kind of different experiments with my own children. Reason, long time, my father had given both, we are two sisters, enough freedom to go in the field which we would like. I am a trained vocal Indian music person. Along with, I myself wanted to become a doctor, sat for the examinations, but then I went into honors, botany. Instead of not going into microbiology or anything, but my choice, because I'm in love with environments and plants. That was the first thing that I myself, went into a different area. And then my children. The elder one was selected for, he became he was selected candidate for MBBS in Manipal. But then he was like dilly-dallying that it will be a long process of studying. Why can't we think of some other field? I myself brought him into biomedical engineering, and that boy in Zurich is doing wonderful things because it was his choice. He has that bent of mind where engineering and medical professions were joined into, and they were kind of that's a field which was hitherto unknown, and he's doing wonderfully now. And he's the one who then pushed me when I was working 5 years back into data analysis. I myself went into coding and did Art Studio and did a lot of data analysis when I was with the DAV group of schools. My son gave me the opportunity to go into data analysis while being an academician. So, and then he also on the way started realizing that AI is, now the field to go into. He's a neuroscientist. He's a PhD in Zurich, and then learned AI and worked with United Nations. So the change in perspectives happened because a long time back, my father gave us a perspective. Anything which you love can become your profession, and which you love, you will do the best. So my first love is always education, but changing things and bringing in those ideas which give you satisfaction actually bring the best in you. So I give a great thumbs up to you that it was sort of, you managed, you were the right example of time management. You love your field where you wanted to excel. Along with that, you did so very well, and HR MBA and then law and whatnot. So excellent. So I have just about this much to say. And people like you are shining stars and examples for the children of today. This is what they needed today. Gone are the days when it was, showered on them that you become a doctor or an engineer and just stay there. So I go fully with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much. And, sir, can I,
Sir, please continue. Please continue.
Ma'am, it's very interesting what you said, and let me carry this forward. I have a young son, and you cannot imagine what he's doing today. I mean, it's going to be enlightening for the panel that he was a professional football player, and today he's a professional e-gamer. He's India's #1 FIFA gamer, and he's making money by making e-football. And today, he is one of reporters of FIFA World Cup from Zone 3, which covers a huge. There are only 6 reporters which were nominated by FIFA in the world to report. He's one of them. So I have passed on the legacy to my son, who's from Sadar Patel School, from a Venkatesh College with a very good degree. And what is he doing today? He's doing e-gaming as a profession. So it's so exciting. I don't know even people know what is e-gaming. I mean, and e-gaming is exactly like when I got married to a wing commander's daughter, and he said, "What do you do?" I'm a sportsman. So he said, "That's okay, but what do you do? What do you do for your living?"
Right.
Because my
Very
wife
right.
has a very plush government job. She's a chief dietitian of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences.
Okay.
She's a dietitian. So as a profession, she's doing. So sports is a profession. So I mean, they ask me, "Excuse me, what are you going to do? How would you survive your life?" So here I am.
Right.
I have
Yes.
very good life. I drive a good car. I've got people working for me. I give salary to my staff. Industry calls. I can quote n number of examples. I can quote their name that you can speak to them. That how sports has changed the life, education, personality, profession, satisfaction. Because I can easily say, I can easily say I'm one of the person who's pressing my profession, which was my passion. So practicing your passion as profession is very, very few people in this world must be doing.
Very well explained, sir. Living your profession, making a living from profession and passion, enjoying every moment, that's the goal of life. Very often we choose a job because that was first on us, or that was the only thing available, or we landed there. Not we choose. In our time, I joined in science because those who were getting first division were going in science. So there was no other reason. And even if today I feel I'm more a person of literature than science, but I went to science because there were, automatically no one asks. Since I was good in studies, I got first class, good marks. So I was taken automatically in the science. The school enrolled me automatically in the science. No one asked a question, why are what you want. That was the time. But now my daughter want to do research in biology, and she is so focused that no other questions. She want to do only research. So, sir, Thapar sir is also there. I want to listen from him as well. And also, sir, we'll come back to you again. The idea of having this debate and discussion came when we were discussing with our daughter. She want to do research, and she has to do biology. She is studying biology and she has got good mark in school and quite good mark. I am satisfied with the mark that she had gone in the board exam. But along with board examinations, she is doing so many online courses from Coursera, from edX, from Harvard University, and from all others that her knowledge of biology is maybe 50 times more than students get in biology in this college. Other day we were talking to one teacher from Varanasi. She's a biology teacher. She's from neurology, she neurosciences, and she want to do research in neurosciences. Along with that, she want to do something with artificial intelligence. She is getting admission in many colleges, including IIT Hyderabad, but they are not giving her computer course because she's not for computer background. She said, fine. Now she is learning artificial intelligence from other sources, and she said that my learning journey is much more, which could have been any institute or anything possible. Now, so much knowledge is available beyond school and beyond colleges that children can update themselves like anything. Today, also, I like literature and history more than anything else. I have read more books on history and literature, and I can say I might have not less than Mr. Thapar, at least literature. But whatever we wanted to do, we could do that time. But now with internet, you can update anything happening in the world any tune. I was talking about the Mr. Venki Raman who got Nobel Prize in physics. He did, sorry, biology. He did PhD in physics.
Physics.
Then he realized that this is not his cup of tea. After PhD, he joined BSc, studied biology, and went to research. And mitochondria research, he got Nobel Prize. So learning is not confined in the classroom. Certainly in our system, when we take them outside, we take to the tours, we do other places, lot of learning is there, and that's what we have learned from BC sir, that if we wanted to take children outside in the photography lab, in my chemistry class, I was sending children to do in photography lab and do experiment, and I'm teaching here. Anytime they come and we say that sometime we inform sir, sometime we don't inform sir, from back door, we send to photography lab and they develop and they work and do that. I just talked to one child. He is working in Louis Phillips' third company, Builders company, and he is deciding which advertisement, which photograph will go for advertisement. He say, you told me how to hold the camera. Now I am judging the best of best fashion photographers of the country, how their photographs are. So spark can come from anywhere. Person can go to any direction. So before we go to Himanshu sir, Mr. Thapar, we want to listen in brief what you say learning beyond the classroom and learning taking all other ways to enhance self-learning to increase in their own learning passion.
Thank you. Thank you, Arun. And I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Good evening to everyone. Good morning to Rajendra ma'am. And it was great listening to Ashok sir and Himanshu sir. I can endorse what Arun Prakash just said. Love for literature. I think half of his books are with me and half of my books are with him. We never asked permission. We never took permission for taking the books from each other's library. We just picked it and took it home. It was something like that. Ashok sir has so rightfully said, as Dr. B. Singh sir also pointed out, learn, earn, and return. That was something which will be remembered. And another fact that he spoke about was, is there in the Upanishads, Tat Tvamasi. We need to feel what others feel. As teachers of, say, subjects like sports, music, dance, they always have some problems in the school regarding taking out the children from the classes, especially when some other subject teaching is going on. And as principals, we don't want the children to overstay in the school because of naturally the transportation problems come in. And when we permit these children to take part in these areas, problem comes from subject teachers when the children have to go out of the classrooms. So those subject teachers have to be empathetic towards them, and instead of, say, criticizing them, as Himanshu sir was pointing out, Ashok sir also pointed out, I think those are the things where we need to help our students so that they can participate in those events with more confidence. You don't have to return to the class where a maths teacher will tell them, आगे गाना गा के या आगे dance करके. So in that they get demotivated. So that is something which all subject teachers need to take care of. Or Himanshu, while listening to Himanshu sir, so many things flash back. That all those things happen in the school area. Especially when he spoke about his traveling for participating in more than 300 competitions, how he utilized the time for traveling better than regular students. But, this also pointed out, it brought back memories to me when we used to take our children to various excursion trips. From Korba, under the guidance of Dr. B. Singh sir, we used to always take the children out in groups of 40 students. We used to go to far off places like Hardwar and Mysore. These children who were good in studies, they also used to be part of that contingent. And we always found these children studying while traveling, and they performed better than those students who used to stay back and were not coming for these competitions. Stuti Jain, Shekhar, Kapuri, they're all now well settled. They are in Silicon Valley. They are doing their, say, contributing in the progress of technology in the world, in spite of being good in sports also. So thank you, Himanshu sir, for really enlightening us, especially what you call your tennis coaching center as a clinic. That brought back to me Tom Sawyer's story, in which Aunt Polly gives the punishment to Tom Sawyer for painting the fence, which was a tedious job. And while painting the fence, Tom Sawyer makes it so attractive that he ends up where all his friends, they come and request him to allow them to paint the fence. And he makes it attractive by telling them that, well, it's not an easy job. Only an expert can do it. And I will allow you only if you give me something which you have. He ends, the whole fence gets painted by his friends, and by the end of the day, he is rich by, like, his friends give him their marbles or whatever little things that they have, which little ones consider to be precious. So in the evening time, Aunt Polly is also surprised that the whole fence has got painted. So, Himanshu sir, you're pointing out making tennis look so beautiful, where you pointed out that how we need to be calculative, we become physicists, and so on. So that's just one little spark that you can give to the students. It's same thing in all the sports events. This is what the role of a teacher is. Whether you are a sports teacher or chemistry teacher or whichever subject, you have to make your subject attractive. And once it is made attractive, I think you can make the children perform good. So today's session was really very enriching from both Ashok sir and Himanshu sir. And as usual, thank you, Arun, and thank you, Dr. P. Singh, sir, for always weaving up something and bringing us such beautiful sessions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
It's a
Yes,
really
sir.
opportunity to be there with all of you. Himanshu sir, can you listen us, sir? Can we listen you, please?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Sir, what we wanted to listen from you.
No, you are muted, I think. You are muted. No.
Now you're muted, sir.
You are muted.
Yeah.
Let's have a concluding remark, Himanshu sir. It's and let us check whether Facebook or YouTube any specific question is there. Dr. Arun Prakash.
Sir, once again, I think my connectivity is still problem.
On YouTube, I did
So,
not.
sir, let us have final remark from you, Himanshu sir. Thank you so much for being with us. Please give your concluding remark.
My concluded remarks is the sports is the non-recession industry for next 20 years in our country. I wanted to share a sheet of job requirements in various fields, not as a sportsman alone, but as a journalist, as a lawyer, as an architect, as an engineer. In next few years, I will not be surprised if the government takes a call to create an IIS in this country very soon. That is Indian Institute of Sport, which is equivalent to IIT and IIM, because sports is growing leap and bound. We are opening doors. We have more leagues coming in. Sports infrastructure is getting developed. The system and the culture of sports is getting in. India is the youngest country in the world today. I think I would advise our youngsters and the school people, those who are sitting here, please allow them to be sports professionals right from the school. What you allow them to be doctors and engineers right from the school. If a student wants to become a sports professional, and mind you, it's not only playing as a profession. He could be a teacher, he could be a researcher, he could be an analyst, he could be a photographer, he could be a lawyer, he could do sports engineering, he can design complexes. So there are a lot of lines within the sports. You know, you have so much physiotherapists, sports medicine experts. So if this new line is opening up, there are enough number of job opportunities. There are enough number of career opportunities. Please promote the children right from school as a professional, which will not only help them choose a career where they want to, but we will also turn around the embarrassment of this country of holding one or two medals at the Olympic and come back with the heads down all the time. We would also get into the race like a world power of holding 80, 90, 100 medals. But that has to be built up here, because as my caption of life is, schools are gateway to Olympics. If you don't start at school, you will never make it to the Olympics. But each school must understand this byline, which is my motto, or to always to everybody: school is the gateway to Olympics. You cannot be 17, 18 and think of becoming a medal winner. You have to start when you're 3, 4, 5, 6 at the school to make a medal winner. Those talents have to be searched by professionals, and these children will have to be groomed. These professionals will have to be groomed right from here. So I think it's a very, very greener side on sports. I see thousands and lakhs of jobs coming up in the next 2 to 3 years. I predicted a lot of things earlier. I'm predicting this on this platform. Please use this, throw it out to YouTube, throw it out to more and more educationalist people, or to the students and tell them sports is going to give you one of the largest opportunity in terms of employment and career in next 5 years. Thank you so much for having me on this platform.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
We would love and will request you to advise your son when he is working in gaming to connect gaming with all main subjects, which is chemistry, biology, mathematics, and English and Hindi also.
Anytime,
So thank you
anytime.
so much.
And sir will request you to tell his son, spare some time to talk to our children, to our group, and whatever unusual thing he is doing, he can spread it to others, and that will empower, that will motivate, that will tell many children to think beyond a normal curriculum. So thank you very much to every one of you. Kaushik sir,
Thank you,
I'll
sir. Thank
request
you.
you. I'll request you to sum it up and give your final remarks before we close the program.
Thank you, sir, to give me an opportunity. Really, the talks or the ideas given by
Please
Himanshu
open your
sir.
video, sir. Sir, video.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you very much, Dr. Arun Prakashji, Dr. B. Singh. And really, we are enlightened with these thoughts and the ideas which we have never known to, that sports can be a really a big through for our students which are coming in the future. Dr. Pandey also has given we have been talking in our B.Ed, the aim of education is holistic, but we never knew that being holistic means hand is an education, leg is an education. So it's a new idea given to us, and really it is the real education which we should impart in our schools, and the importance equally good as the co-curricular activities. Thank you very much, Himanshu sir, and really we look forward to again or to have you again on this platform to enrich us again. Thank
It's
you,
going to be
Dr.
my
Pandey
pleasure,
also,
sir.
who has left us. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Definitely,
much, sir.
we would like to have your proposal, how you are working, and we'll be having more interaction with you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sir, USP of Himanshu sir is not only training, but sports management.
Sports
And
management.
you'll be surprised, sir, in this pandemic, he was giving money to thousands of sports coaches because sports was the biggest casualty. All the gyms were closed, all the sports facilities were closed, and most of these coaches livelihood was depending on the almost daily work that they were doing and monthly work they were doing. For months when there was no sports activity, they were jobless, there was no money, and being educated people, they cannot go and stand in line for the government arms or subsidies. So they face a lot of program from through his NGO. He spent a lot of money. He collected money from the people and distributed to them.
You're one
So
of the
kudos
donors,
to
sir.
sir.
Say you're one of the donors.
Sir. Thank you, sir. And
Real example
another,
of humility.
another USP of sir is there. He is having a battery of sports coaches. He is providing coaches to various schools. He is running many academies in the city and other places. He want to develop sports infrastructure, run academy for profit to the school where students of school are benefited and outsiders can be done. He has a very vast people with him to develop sports infrastructure, the codes and supplies which are required. So Himanshu sir, we'll love to work with you to take your guidance, to take the whole education system as much as possible and take things further in the next level. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being present.
Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Very much.
thank you, B. Singh sir, for giving us opportunity to lead this program, to work with us, and to join together. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.